Hi John, it's Ceara Treacy here with the HTIP in Computing for Continuous Assessment 2 in Integrated Health Support Systems. The specification for CA2. For CA2 we were required to team up with the other groups and share data between the applications that our groups developed for CA1. The data we shared could be anything associated with the patient in our projects and was dependent on what project each group implemented in CA1. Because we were such a small group, the decision was taken that we would all work together and exchange data between the three groups. Outline of this presentation is going to be creating a valid XML document, agreeing the TTD, exchanging XML documents, interoperability, opportunities for improvement, and then finally I'll demonstrate the code. So creating a valid XML document. An XML document is valid if it's well formed, no syntax errors, and also satisfies the rules laid out in the DTD or schema attached to the document. It was all done collectively. We sat down after class one day and came up with the tags that we felt at the time would be good to exchange information through. In hindsight, there's lots of things we would change in order to get more document. We could probably put down in the amount of tables. We recognise that some elements were optional. For example, appointments and symptoms were not common to all three groups, and not every patient had a date of birth. Creating a well-formed and valid XML document, there are elements, basic building blocks of the XML files. XML supports two types of elements, closed and empty. They are case sensitive. They must be nested correctly, which we found out when we tried to validate our DTD on one occasion. Child elements must be enclosed with the parent elements. All elements must be nested with a single document or root element, and there can only be one root element. So if you look at the example just below, the symptoms plural is our root element. Symptom is the parent or class element, and then symptom name is an element of that. So agreeing the TDD. So we had a group meeting 3 weeks ago on the 6th of November. Each group sat down and decided what data we should share across the applications and what format it would be. So we discussed the tags and how they would be named so everybody could understand it on a later date and what was expected in the tags. Out of this meeting was an XML TDD that the rules had the XML output documents from each group would follow. Bridget and I actually took the lead with the TTD and also with the XML file, making sure that everybody received an up-to-date copy. There were 8 iterations, and also applying the rules and filling out the documents. This is a picture of our very first meeting and what tags we were going to share with each other and what would be inside those tags. This is a copy of the overall schema that Bridget put together for us in our group. The first part we see the patients, which is our root. So everything is included in this patient. So every patient has a patient, which has first name, last name, date of birth, address, phone number, email, PBS number, and sex. Then we had a medication, and that was inside our patient's root. So every patient had a medication. We could share a medication, but we couldn't share appointment, which other groups could, and symptoms we couldn't share, but healthcare professional we could. The rules: every element used in the document must be declared in the DTD for the document to be valid. The order of the child elements must match the order defined in the element declaration, which is what we discovered was very important and did cause at least 2 reiterations of the DTD. Modifying symbols were appended to the context model to indicate the number of occurrences of each element. These conditions must be satisfied. In the file you can see a plus sign or an asterisk, and the plus sign says allow one or more of the item. That means there must be at least one item in there, one element. An asterisk means that you don't have to have an item there, and it will be accepted into the XML and validate it anyway. And as you can see, there's an example below. So exchanging the XML documents. So this is an extract from an XML document that we received. One of the things I would look at again for doing an assignment of this kind would be to have the exchange of the XML documents occur quite early on, because this is very good for highlighting the difficulties and the infringement of the DTD rules. So we got this group from another group, and as you can see, we could take in the patients and the healthcare professionals. So we were actually taking in information from into two files in our database from this XML file. This is an extract from the sent XML document. So we were able to share three of our tables with the other groups. We could share our patient table, we could share our healthcare professionals table, and we could share our medications tables. So, and in our patients tables we were able to share 4 elements. In our healthcare professionals we were able to share 4 elements. And in our medications tables we were able to share 4 elements. So it's quite a substantial amount of data. Interoperability and advantages of XML. So we went through this earlier today at the presentation. In simplicity is an advantage of XML, but also it was a great advantage in relation to this CA, because it meant that the XML tags were readable and we could build them to suit our needs and the needs of all group. It was very good because it's the group's first time writing or exchanging information through the computer systems, and it just means that it's easily understood as it's actually written in human language, not computer. Compatibility, again, as I highlighted earlier, one of the biggest advantages is that it's completely compatible with Java and is portable, which is key to our group of HDIPs, given that we are only in college 3 days a week and there are a lot of assignments completed through different environments and in different places. Other advantages here included can use your information regardless of the platform. Not everybody uses the same kind of platform or operating systems, and it is not a problem for XML. It also supports multilingual documents, and this is key because not everybody in the group has English as their first language, so it was our tags were developed so that everybody could understand. Extensibility, XML is extendable, which means there is no fixed set of tags. That was great for our assignment also, because we realized that when we came to validation, there were tags that we said were required, and it turns out that some of the groups didn't actually have the tags to share, so we could very easily take them out of our XML document and consequently out of the DTD file. It's possible to embed existing data, mapping existing data structures like relational databases or file systems to XML is relatively simple, and this is particularly again advantageous for us due to our inexperience and time limit in level of learning required for the assignment. All groups work from the same database platform, which made it easy to exchange information and knowledge. It facilitates the comparison and the aggregation of data. So again, this is about the structure, the tree structure of the XML documents, allowed the documents to be compared and aggregated efficiently element by element. And again, very useful in this CA for the validation process and determine what issues arose due to rules infringement. And when we eventually did exchange our XML documents, it resulted in a quick and easy resolution of issues with complete understanding in every group and aided interoperability. Again, Bridget and I took the lead in this for the group. We were the first group to attempt to validate someone else's XML, and this is when it came to the highlighted details in the TDD rule file that we weren't actually following the rules. The tags were in the wrong places, and we had a couple of tags that weren't actually required. Opportunities for improvement. Again, as we discussed in the presentation, agreeing the DTD 8 iterations over 3 weeks. It was of a great advantage that we were a small group and we actually could communicate well with each other. Unfortunately, if it was a larger group or 2 organisations trying to get this done, I can see where the initial meetings would be very important, and understanding of what data you wanted to exchange and the importance of that. Deciding what data we could actually share. So initially in our first meeting we thought we could actually share a lot of data together amongst the groups, but as it transpires the data that we could exchange was quite limited. We did manage to share 3 of our tables, and we did manage to take in 3 tables from another group. However, there was only 1 element in the table from another group in one of the 3 that we could take into ours. Limited by what data we could read from the other groups, so again that's the 1 element from a particular table I think that the other group sent. Issues with our databases, our database tables, we had null values, auto increment and primary keys. This is especially in our child table where we had the PPS number as a primary key and it could not be null. So we had to look at that issue and look at auto increment to have any data read into the table. It's certainly something to look at for CA3 and the restructuring of how our tables and our database is laid out. So I'm now going to continue with the demo on a second screencast because I'm at 12 minutes, John, and I will just send this on to you and come back with part 2 of the CA2 for IHSS, the HDIP in Computing Curator. Thank you.